Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome, everybody. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. Another gorgeous day here in northern Colorado. Wouldn't you know it? I was talking to one of our community members today, Tasha, and we were just chatting back and forth. And she's saying, it's so interesting because where I'm at, we've had clear skies, and ever since the government shut down, go figure, the skies are blue. And it made me think, and I thought, what's interesting is here in northern Colorado, we've been getting fog in the morning, but like a very natural fog. It's not like that pressure cooker type of haze that, floats around the sky. It's like real fog, it's real fog. And then it clears up. About 10 o'clock in the morning or so, it's totally gone. Well, probably even earlier. I feel like it's gone by 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's gone. And then blue skies. It's just interesting. One of those things that just makes you kind of think, well, isn't that something, right? The government goes on shutdown and suddenly the skies are clear. And I see people noticing that all over X and social media platforms too. But I love those types of conversations with you. So keep your comments and your reflections coming in on my text line because I love it. 720-303-8868. I love staying in touch with you and seeing what you're seeing in your part of the country. We got a great show for you today. First of all, I want to talk about this. I mean, oh boy. Yep. I just, I hate to be so, intense. But some of the topics that have been surfacing recently are they're real fire burners in me, They just really fire me up. And today is no exception, that's for sure. Today I want to talk about, this persecution for speech that just keeps happening. Like they just keep, it's because of your medical thing, medical misinformation, COVID, we have to for the safety of the population, for the greater good. You know how it goes. Yeah, sure. It just doesn't seem to stop, and I kind of feel like, how are we going to stop this? How are we going to stop this public persecution for things that we say? It's a public platform, though. Here's the devil's advocate people. Well, it's a private company, and so they can do whatever they want. It's a private company. Okay, if it's a private company, then don't take a dime from taxpayer money, and don't bow down and serve the government by, getting paid billions of dollars to advertise government propaganda. Okay, sure. If you want to be a private company, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, like if you're a private company, great. But don't take government money. Because when you take government money, you're taking taxpayer money. And then you're still getting the benefits of saying that you're a private company. It doesn't really work that way. You know what? The government doesn't fund my business. Yeah, that'd be like me asking my neighbor to fund my business, right? We don't do that here in the free marketplace. And so it's one or the other, people. It's one or the other. You're either a private company or you're a public company, right? Funded by taxpayer dollars. So which one is it? Because you don't get both. But somehow these people do get both. And seeing more and more. And, I have to give a lot of people credit because they were saying immediately when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, that this was an assault on free speech, right? This was a little signal. Stay in line, right? Stay in line or else, right? This is what happens to people who speak the truth. Here's what happens to people who speak things that are not liked by whomever. We silence people that we don't like what they're saying. And this is particularly, worrisome in the realm of health, because this is life and death stuff. And we're battling a number of things when it comes to health and free speech. One of the things is that, we've been living, and I talked about this yesterday, we've been living in this like medical paradigm where there are a few things that have been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And so the general population, we all think, in a certain way, because we've been, I hate to call it conditioning, but I don't know what else to call it. Like we're conditioned by the way this medical model has been assembled to think in a certain way. One is that medicine is science. Medicine is science. Trust the science. Trust the science. The science. The science. It's all about the science. But you know what? Medicine's actually an art. And I remember the first time an actual medical doctor, one that wasn't trained in the Western model, though. It was somebody that was trained in the Chinese model, actually. And she had moved to Canada at the time. And she was the first person that told me medicine is an art. It's just so funny. Hindsight's 2020. Not funny, haha, but just, ironic. Because I was yet in another urgent care with my son. I think he was about 4 months old or so, maybe somewhere around there, between 4 and 6 months, I think. And yet another visit. And I had no idea. I had no idea that injections were causing this issue in my son. Chronic respiratory problems, incessant crying, and, just so difficult to comfort as a baby. Well, I know why now. He's being poisoned, but I didn't know that at the time. And I was in yet another urgent care, and this doctor said to me, we could give him antibiotics, or we could just, lay off the antibiotics, do this or that. Or, she suggested some homeopathic remedies, actually. And I didn't like it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, right? I didn't like it. I didn't like that she told me medicine's an art. I didn't like that because I was a scared mother. And I wanted there to be a concise, scientific answer for what ailed my child. I wanted it. Give it to me, right? But the truth is, it didn't exist. I should have been looking for root cause, but I didn't know that at that time. And many people that live in the medical paradigm today, they don't realize that either. So they're still treating it like it's the science. It's the science. I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty of this, and it's going to all come together, and I'm going to be able to check all the boxes and figure out exactly why this is happening to me, and then I will take X, Y, Z, and this. Life is an art, and it's a beautiful art. Everybody has their own nuances in their biology. Everybody, functions in nature differently. We interact with nature differently. You ever see people that are just like, it's like every time a dog sees a certain person or whatever, it's just like a beeline to that person, Not everybody's like that. Some people, they're a little fearful and dogs don't like them. Like, we are nuanced beings. And so that's why the medical arts need to exist. Because it's truly an art form to coerce the body back into homeostasis. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some foundation. There's some foundation to health, and we learn about it, and we should study science. But we should not think that science is the end all and be all of understanding biology and our own human bodies. We are impacted by something very elusive called emotions. We don't even know why they're hitting us sometimes. Yeah. Oh, I'm so stressed out. I feel so anxious. Like they're just, it's part of the human condition. We don't like them. And in this medical model, we even medicate our emotions. And we never stop to think that the emotions are there for a reason. They're actually part of the art of the body. You got to pay attention to your emotions. You're feeling things for a certain reason. Sometimes it's communication. I believe all of these things are communication coming from our body. So when we get into this area of shutting people up for saying what they want to say, we're shutting down so much communication. We're shutting down so much opportunity to discover who we are as human beings. If all we're going to go by is science, we're going to have some difficulties. we're going to have some big difficulties, because here's the thing. We don't even know why the sun came up today. We don't know why our heart beats on autopilot. We really don't. We can explain it. Oh, it's because of this and that and that. We have no answers from root cause as to why the body does half of what it does. Yet we want to treat it that way. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Did you know that Naturally Inspired Radio is now streaming on 100+ video, podcast, and social media platforms? All you got to do is search your favorite platform for Tammy Cuthbert Garcia or Naturally Inspired Radio. We're everywhere you listen, watch, and connect. So help us grow today our BitChute channel. Go to BitChute and search Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, or you can like our posts, follow our channel, leave a comment, excuse me, but don't forget to visit naturalinspiredradio.com anytime for the full list of where we're featured online and on radio. Oh my goodness, I have another tickle in my throat. I think something might be coming out of our vent. Our heat has kicked on here in the studio, and I think something's flowing around. A little dust, a little farm stuff is happening because I got a major tickle in my throat here. So hopefully we can, it will resolve. Because I have so much to talk about here today. I got a couple clips I want to share with you. So this one really is upsetting. I'm going to tell you off the top. This is a guy named John Castellani. And he's a big guy in pharma. And I can't, this is old. This clip is old. But why do we have such a tendency to want to censor people? I don't know. But it is strong. And if you don't agree with someone, the last thing you should want is to censor them and shut them up. So let's go to this clip here. This is John Castellani. You'll see why it's so upsetting. Here it is.
How do you see that? How do you beat back the Jenny McCarthys of the world, if you will, in this modern environment where consumer voice is going to have more of a say over this industry?
Right. Let's separate it, because I think you have two issues. Because sure. I'm very angry about the Jenny McCarthy. That's stupid. Yep. That's from a public health standpoint. That's stupid. It's based on a lie. It's based on a myth, and we're putting children's lives in danger. The woman ought to be arrested. So much for Jenny McCarthy.
The woman ought to be arrested. Do you realize how wrong this man is? I mean, this man is so wrong. And we're finding out today. This is from years ago. This health conference he was at, talking about vaccines and public health. this is what he said to the audience. This woman ought to be arrested. Here's Jenny McCarthy today. Just take a listen. Take a listen.
Shame. And I still battled with him in that room. And my husband, my ex-husband, he was there, and he said, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just step out of the room if you can't handle this? And I was like, because he agreed to it. Now, looking back, my ex-husband's like, God, I'm so sorry. You were so right. You were so right. And I'm sorry. And like, I don't blame him. He was also listening to the doctor, and he was shaming us. He was legit shaming us. So it wasn't far after that Evan started having seizures. And those seizures led to seizures that would put him into cardiac arrest. So he had died in front of me once. Yeah, he was gone.
Which again, I can't even imagine that fear, because it's never happened. But I just know, like, if my daughter even scrapes her, if she gets stitches or something, like the fear in you can't describe that.
No, my post-traumatic stress was very real for 20 years. Like even Donnie, when I married Donnie, he's like, you need to get some help, because Evan would sneeze or cough, and I'd be like, I was so paranoid because I watched my kid eyes dilate and go blue while they were trying to resuscitate him, you know? And so then the next seizure, I had to put him in a phenobarbital coma, which basically makes you brain dead on the machine.
Oh my God.
So he wouldn't go into cardiac arrest. So it's like, I've been through it. I've been really, really through it, which, you know, really brought me closer to God, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, I prayed so hard and begged him. I'm like, please give me my boy back, please. And if you can help teach me what's wrong with him, help me heal him, I will promise I'll teach the world how to do it. If this is my purpose, if the only reason I'm famous is to help spread some word, then please allow my son to come back to life and show me the way. And so, you know, he was then later diagnosed with autism soon after that. And then I made it my mission. Then I was like, okay. And then I started diving into the research of like, I got to fix him.
Was it a relief when he was diagnosed because you felt like... No.
I was hoping it was just epilepsy. When they first said he's got epilepsy now. And I'm like, what? Like, does epilepsy run in the family? I'm like, no, epilepsy doesn't run in the family. So I was devastated because you guys, back then, there wasn't a lot of information. This is what the doctor said to me. There's plenty of institutions for him that he'll be in an institution later on in life. That's what
You can just feel her pain, you know, and of course we know now there is research to suggest that, you know, toxic exposure can lead to things like epilepsy. There are some practitioners that are as bold to say that this is a vaccine injury. And Jenny McCarthy has what a trooper she has been. She is going to be vindicated. She already is. I mean, I believed her from day one, but I believe she will be fully vindicated because we have the science that shows that vaccines do cause injuries. And one of those injuries is toxicity. We're getting a little bit closer every day, I feel like, as, you know, towards that announcement from Maha. You have a lot of moms now coming together, and the moms have been the one carrying this issue this entire time. And many of us have been gaslit, told we're crazy and that we're, you know, conspiracy theorists and we're dangerous to public health. But vaccine injury is real. There's a vaccine compensation court. It is acknowledged. It is fully acknowledged. There's a database called VAERS. And many people have no idea about these things. VAERS tracks vaccine injury and has for a long time. So this is not new. This is a very old issue that has been suppressed. And so we have to allow free speech on these issues, because where there is risk, there must be choice. I wish people could understand that, you know, these pro-vaccine people, like this man that we just saw talking on stage there. I wish he could understand that as much as he believes that vaccines are beneficial and that it's a danger to children to not vaccinate, I feel just as passionately on the other side of that issue, just as passionately as he does. And so does Jenny McCarthy. And so does Children's Health Defense and that entire organization. The thousands of stories that have been told, I would say tens of thousands of stories that have been told by parents through Children's Health Defense, through organizations like Children's Health Defense, the children that have been impacted and they have received compensation from the Vaccine Compensation Court. We all feel just as passionately that vaccines cause injury. Just as much as you feel like this is the thing that is saving the world or saving everybody from dying from disease. Just as much as you feel that passion for that, we feel it on the other side equally. And so the only resolution is to let people have freedom of choice. If you believe in vaccination, then get vaccines and consider yourself protected and work to educate other people that they should be taking it. And then on the other side, conversely, if you think vaccines do not, the benefit does not outweigh the risk, then you make the different choice. And I think that's the way it has to be going forward. But when you try to silence somebody's voice, you try to arrest somebody, so much is missing there, right? In your humanity alone, so much is missing. You don't understand that medicine is an art. You don't understand the complexity of the immune system. You don't understand freedom. You don't understand a lot of things. If you are calling for the silencing of other people, honestly, I question your intellect. Because the last thing you want to do is silence your opposition. You want to keep your opposition front and center so that they can keep talking, because we want to get to the bottom of the truth. And if you just silence your opposition, what kind of scientist are you? Are you even a scientist? Maybe you're not a scientist, and maybe that's where the fallout is. Maybe these people who are vaccine zealots and pro-vaccine, maybe they aren't actually about science at all, but maybe they are about selling products. Because that would make more sense, wanting to silence anybody that is challenging your product. I get, right? Because you want to sell more product. I get it. But don't hide behind the science umbrella. Because if you're silencing people that are questioning your hypothesis, you are not a scientist. You're not a scientist. There's some really good clips from a podcast. And if I say myself, Gerald Posner was on PBD. That's a pretty big podcast. And I had Gerald Posner on the Naturally Inspired podcast many years ago. Brilliant guy, a natural researcher, an author. I'll tell you about it when we come back, and I'll share some things with you. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. So glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. I'm feeling better. We got the AC on in here now, and it's not blowing little dust particles through the air. Sorry about that. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I want to tell you a little bit about some key polyphenols in my favorite cellular reset. They've been shown to boost natural collagen production, actually, and improve joint comfort within just a few weeks. Steve from Oregon shared this with me. My knees used to ache every morning. 2 weeks in, the pain started fading. And by a month, I was walking the golf course again with no problem. Tammy helped me understand how inflammation really works and how to rebuild from the inside out. You can try the Cellular Reset today and get a free membership for 15% discount as well, and a money-back guarantee by going to naturallyinspiredstore.com/reset. If you have any questions at all about the Cellular Reset, just text me, 720-303-8868. Happy to answer them. We've been talking a lot about polyphenols lately. It's an exciting, interesting topic to me. Plants, they carry a vibration, a frequency, and it's nourishing to us. I call it the secret light code within plants, and we talked about it on our weekly wellness workshop this past Tuesday. So that's the type of information that you get access to when you become a customer of Naturally Inspired. So join today, naturallyinspiredstore.com/reset. Gerald Posner, so had him on the podcast a few years ago. Great guy, author, researcher. He's written several books on pharma, and he was recently on the PBD podcast. I want to share a couple very important clips with you because I want to talk about the capture. I've been talking, so far about how, medicine is an art. It's actually an art form, that there's nuance to biology, that there's individuality in our biology, and it should be treated, with individuality in mind, not just one size fits all medicine, which is the allopathic model. And so how did we get here? I was talking to somebody the other day, and, they're dealing with a chronic illness, and we're anxious to get a diagnosis. Right? When we have something going wrong, it's like, just tell us what it is. Tell us what it is, because we want that diagnosis because we think then we'll be able to treat it once we know what it is. Right? But where did diagnosis actually come from? Why do we add so many diagnoses every single year? There's like a new one all the time. It's like, MIS, inflammatory disease, ADHD, like they just come out of nowhere, And the truth is, all disease starts at the cellular level. It starts with like dysregulated cells and inflammation. And so really, that's where you have to start when you're trying to tackle something. But because of this medical paradigm that we've created for ourselves, we are conditioned to think like we need a diagnosis, we need this, we need that, we need all these things. And by us buying into those mechanisms, those definitions, and like yearning for them, we're just perpetuating the whole system of dysfunction. And when you go back and you look at history and how this medical model became to be, it's somewhat laughable. Listen to this. This is a PBD podcast.
Until 1900, there was no national medical license law. In most states, anyone could call themselves a doctor and open a practice and treat patients. The lack of basic medical knowledge meant that there were few boundaries for promoting a drug. That was the case with the first inexpensive but powerful central nervous system stimulant called cocaine. It had been discovered by a German doctor student whose chemistry dissertation was about how he had isolated the pure alkaloid from coca leaves. He named the alkaloid cocaine, from the Latin ina, from it simply means from coca. Merck, one of the first firms to concentrate on cocaine, touted it in products for everything from numbing aesthetics to cure for ingestion and hemorrhoids. Even as an aid in eye surgery, it reduced bleeding by tightening blood vessels. Cocaine was officially the sanctioned remedy of the United States Hay Fever Association. The U.S. Surgeon General said cocaine was effective for treating depression, tobacco, and sold cigars laced with 225 milligrams of cocaine for soothing nerves, while dentists peddled cocaine infused for toothaches. A gram of cocaine costs an average of 25 cents at any druggist. The largest mail-order catalog of the era, Sears and Roebuck, sold a hypodermic syringe a Scottish doctor had invented. It only a few decades earlier, and a small amount of cocaine for $1.50. The bottom in cocaine-based remedies meant that over a 2-year span, folks, pay attention to this, Merck went from producing less than a pound of cocaine annually to 180,000 pounds a year.
Absolutely fascinating, right? So like there's so many things to unpack here. There's so many thoughts I had when I was listening to these clips that I'm going to share with you today. This one, like, so the very first drug, that is being marketed like a drug is cocaine. Is cocaine healing your hemorrhoids? Or is it just making you feel good? Is it curing your indigestion? Or is it just making you feel like, who gives a crap about my indigestion? Because I feel great, right? Like, that's what cocaine does. Cocaine makes you feel great no matter what the heck is going on in your body. Depression, not with cocaine, right? But you guys, that's the pharma model. That's truly the pharma model. That's it. In a nutshell, they could have stopped right there. They could have stopped right there, because that's what it does, is it covers up your problems and makes your body feel a different way. Isn't that fascinating? The other thing that they brought up here was medical licensure. And I know this is going to sound crazy, because it would have sounded crazy to me, 10, 15 years ago. I would have been, well, probably a bit longer, maybe 18 years ago. I would have thought, oh, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Because I was still, kind of a little scared of busting out of the system, right? Busting out of the medical paradigm. Because I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do that myself. I didn't have the confidence, But let me tell you, your confidence grows, especially when you get results. And so now I have the confidence. I'm like, okay, see what's going on here. So think about that, when it comes to licenses. Licenses were enacted as a form of control, specifically to shut out any competition. It's Bill Gates' business model. He does the same thing today. So if we're going to regulate cocaine and we're going to have, doctors with licenses, then they can only sell, right? They can only prescribe what is approved through the regulatory pipeline here. Oh, you're an energy healer? Oh, you connect to frequency. You help people connect with sound to bring down their blood pressure or bring down their stress levels. Or, oh, that's hocus pocus. We have cocaine. And we can measure the science of cocaine because people feel better and maybe their heart rate goes up, or you know what I mean? Like, it's all a scam. We have everything we need to heal in nature. And that includes plants, that includes vitamins, that includes minerals, food first. We have all those things in nature. But what they did is they've tricked everybody to believe, oh, no, the science knows better. And we're going to designate these licenses to these people who have been educated rather, with what we've determined science is. And science means products, everybody. That's what it means. It means prescription, pharmaceutical, synthesized, patented products. That's what we're dealing with today. Check out this second clip. This is Gerald Posner.
It's unbelievable because PBD, think about this. When you said Sears and Roebuck sold a little kit that you could use, that was the Amazon of its day. That was where everybody went. That was, so you were essentially going on the biggest retailer that you could find. They sold a packet that would make it easy. And cocaine is just one example. So this was the Wild West days. This was the days you said they knew very little about medicine and what was curing. But they did know when a stimulant worked, so they knew cocaine worked. And what really was the start of the rest of the pharmaceutical companies that we know today by the companies? By the way, a couple of German cousins in New York City called the Pfizers had a $2,500 loan and borrowed $1,000 from their family and set up a factory to make what? Morphine. Because during the Civil War, they found out there was a tremendous demand for morphine. Battlefield, people are suffering. They knew morphine helped kill pain. There's questions about quality, so the Pfizers get going. There's a guy called Edward Robinson Squibb. He's in the military. He knows that. He starts Squibb and Company. Why? To make morphine. You get the same thing from a fellow called Eli Lilly. He knew that there was bad morphine being sent to the front. He sends morphine. And you get it with Wellcome and Burroughs, Davies, all these companies that today are pharmaceutical companies. They get their start on an addictive product at a time when you could walk into a store and buy it. And
I would argue that it's all addictive. Pharmaceuticals are all addictive. They have a component to them that makes people believe that that's what they need to get better, to heal, to stay alive in some cases. And now listen, they have their place, okay? If you are in a critical condition and you need life-saving treatment, you're not going to go to nutrition, right? Because that's not going to work fast enough, right? So you need pharmaceuticals for emergency care. But most of these chronic conditions that people are dealing with today should never have gotten to the point where they are. Should have never escalated into a full-blown diagnosis of disease. They should have never escalated into that. Because the body was whispering way before a diagnosis. But there was no instruction on how to respond. And that is where we've gone way off the rails. Stay tuned. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back after this short break.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. Did you know that you can book a free assessment with me if you have low energy, maybe you have brain fog? These are often signs of like cellular stress, right? At the cellular level. It's not just age or fatigue. It doesn't have to be chalked up as like, well, I'm just getting older. With the right nutrients and the right lifestyle plan, you can have a reset, and you can do it pretty quickly. Derek from Idaho said, I used to hit a wall by 2 p.m. every day. Tammy's plan helped me rebuild my energy from the inside out. I feel sharper, I feel calmer, and I feel more productive than I have in years. She's truly passionate about helping people live feeling alive again. Try it today. Get a 90-day plan from me, priority access to my text line and email, and weekly wellness workshops every Tuesday night. You can schedule your free health and lifestyle assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. If you have questions about this assessment, I think some people do, they have a little hesitation. It's like, well, who am I talking to here, right? Yeah, I don't give medical advice, but I would say, you know what? If you've been watching for a while and maybe you could pop on the chat and ask somebody their experience with the assessment, because it's so much more than a doctor's visit. It's not a doctor's visit. I'm not a doctor. They would never spend this amount of time with you. We spend time going through, drilling down, because I love to connect people to real solutions for health. And it turns out, supplements are part of it for sure, but they're a tool. Really, there's probably some key things that you're doing in your lifestyle that are keeping you from the results that you want. And that's what I'm an expert at. Locating those key things and understanding how to rebuild a lifestyle that brings you the results that you want. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today, book the assessment. If you have any questions at all, just text me, 720-303-8868. Let's get to our Naturally Inspired Moment. It's my favorite part of the show. And today I'm going to be talking about 10 important life decisions that define a life well lived. It's always good to do a little bit of an audit, I do what I call a whoa every morning, which is words of encouragement. And this morning we were talking about age in words of encouragement. Like, it's never too late to realign with your goals and your dreams and what you really want in life. It's never too late. As long as you're still here, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do if you're not going to shoot for better experience in your life? And so it's always good to kind of take an audit. And so I came up with 10 important life decisions that define a life well lived. Number 1, and this is in no particular order because I tried to put them in order and I'm like, well, this is too hard. I can't put these in order because they're all very, very important. So in no particular order, okay? These are in no particular order. Number 1 is what you believe about yourself. Every other choice flows from this one. When you decide that you're capable, you're worthy, and you're made for purpose, you start living from power instead of for approval. And I think we're conditioned, as little children. We want to be liked. That's the human instinct. We want to be recognized. We want to be loved. And we feel like we have to act and be a certain something in order to get that. And so we tend to curve our choices to please other people. And we often get recognition when we do that. And we often get love when we do that. So that reaffirms it, that this is how we find our place and our way through the world, is by pivoting and acting in a way that pleases other people. The problem with that is that you're never, ever going to be able to please everybody because everybody wants and needs something different. And in addition to that, you're never going to be able to control other people's perception of you. not by what you do, not by what you say. You can't control how people perceive you. They're looking at you through their own filter, and you have no idea what that filter is. Most of the time, how we think someone perceives us is inaccurate. It's not even right. So there's no point in trying to be this way or that way for other people's approval. It's most important what you believe about yourself. Are you capable? Do you feel like you're worthy? Are you feeling like you are made for a purpose? That's what's important. Number 2, how you treat your body, right? How you treat your body. Your health is your foundation. What you eat, how you move, how you rest directly, shape your ability to serve others and fulfill your own purpose. So important. You can't outrun a bad diet. You can't medicate a bad diet. I see people every day, and, they're on the search for the miraculous silver bullet that's going to fix everything. And I wish there was one. Everybody talks about these med beds. Oh, they're going to come up with a med bed. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But as of right now, there is no silver bullet that will fix everything. And that kind of makes sense to me, because our bodies are synergistic, right? One thing affects the next thing, affects the next thing. And to bring it all back into the beautiful orchestra that it is, it's multiple approaches, including diet, including managing stress, including so many things. So how to treat your body is definitely important. How you treat your body. Number 3, who you surround yourself with, because you will rise or fall to the level of the company you keep. Didn't your grandma tell you that? I think my grandma told me that. Actually, my grandpa used to say, if you fly with the crows, you're going to get shot at. That, of course, means you hang around with bad people and bad things are going to happen to you. So you will rise or fall to the level of the company you keep. Choose people who challenge you, that love you enough to tell you the truth and remind you who you are when you forget. And when the people you love tell you the truth, I know it's hard, but accept it with gratitude. Because somebody loves you enough to want to help you. And I think, myself included, I have been defensive about things in the past. So I think we all do it. But instead of, even if you don't think it's true, you can receive criticism. Even if you don't believe it, and you don't see it and you don't think it's true, fair enough. You don't have to accept it and act on it, but understand that it comes from a place of love. It comes from somebody who cares enough about you to tell you the truth, to help stop, the pain that it may be causing you. So even that, like I said, you don't have to accept it, but you don't have to be offended by it either. I think that is the root cause of a lot of broken relationships, is not taking criticism or taking advice from people who love you as an act of love. Instead, we take it as an offense. And let me tell you, if you're spinning your wheels over something, the same problem over and over again, you keep falling into toxic relationships, or you keep getting poor results with your health and you can't figure it out, I guarantee somebody on the outside might be able to help if you let them. Number 4, how you spend your time. This is the one thing you can't get back. Time. So be intentional with it. It is so valuable. Fill it with being a creator. Fill it with being, contributing and connection, not distraction. So many of us spending time, doom scrolling, or how much time has this portal sucked from you this month alone? This month alone, where you find yourself almost in a trance, where you just wake up and you think, oh my gosh, I'm watching a 65-year-old lady dance with a cat ears on. What am I doing? Hello, wake up. What's happening? I did not need to see that. But somehow this thing is hypnotic. And if we're not mindful with it, it can suck us down what I call the scroll hole. And it just eats up our time. And there ain't no getting that time back. It's gone. So be intentional with how you spend your time. Number 5, what you feed your mind. Your thoughts become your outcomes. So read things that expand you. Listen to voices that lift you higher. Guard your mental space like your life depends on it, because it does. What you are focusing on will ultimately produce your results. End of story. If you focus on health and you set your intention every day for health and you take the action towards your health, you're going to get better health outcomes. But if you live distracted and you let circumstances happen to you because you don't have an intention set, then those are going to become your outcomes. That's where your focus is. Number 6, how you handle adversity. Challenges, they're going to come, guaranteed. And the decision is whether you'll let them define you or you let them refine you. And that's such a powerful statement there. Are you going to become your setbacks? I'm the person that this happened to, and then this happened to, and then that happened to, and this happened to. I used to know somebody a while back who she defined herself by her abuse. And she had no problem telling even strangers about the abuse that had happened to her. And it was horrific abuse. But it was clear that it defined her because she needed to identify that all the time. And that just is proof that trauma was not yet healed and integrated into her identity. So we have to let those challenges refine us, not define us. Number 7, how you give and forgive. Bitterness blocks blessings. Decide to give more love, more grace, and more of what you want to receive. We'll finish up at the top of the next hour. Stay tuned. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Want to thank Linda, Beth, Bill, Philip, and James for becoming new customers and joining a Naturally Inspired community. We're so glad you're here. Excited to walk alongside of you so you can get the health results that you're looking for. I'm so excited. I love it when I connect with people, and I know there's some major things that we can change quickly, because it's going to turn around fast when it's really obvious, when there's some really obvious things, I know we can fix right away and it turns around quickly. That's super exciting. So I love that. So there's many people I've been talking to over the last month like that, and who are getting results. And that's what gets me pumped up and gets me jazzed about what I'm doing. So a lot of people took the naturallyinspiredstore.com /health score. So the health score. Have you taken the health score yet? Have you? You should. It's just a kind of a interesting little quiz that you take. It gives you a rundown about where you're at. And then after you've taken it, then you book an assessment with me, and we can kind of go through some of the things and what we can change and whatnot. So you can take it at naturallyinspiredstore.com /health score, naturallyinspiredstore.com /health score, if you haven't taken it yet. When you take it, make sure you book an assessment with me. because I know I can help. If you have any questions about it, just text me, 720-303-8868. Don't forget to enter to win as well. You can enter to win. Every Friday, we give away a little bit of product, and that's just our way of giving back to you. You support us, and we are happy to show our gratitude by giving away product every week. Every Friday, we announce a new winner. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and you can register to win there. I think it's /win. naturallyinspiredstore.com/win. Yes, I was right. naturallyinspiredstore.com/win. Okay, let's get to some health stories because there's some, well, first of all, let's finish up on the Naturally Inspired Moment. I went too long on that. I'm sorry. I'm a little off today. I'm not sure why. Okay, so we had gotten to how you forgive, right? So bitterness blocks blessings. And where your place in faith, where are you with your faith? Maybe that should be number one. Like I said, I didn't put these in order because it was just like, I was like, oh, this is going to be too hard to try to really sort these in order. But faith is certainly on a top 10 of life decisions, right? Number one, probably. Faith is the compass that keeps you steady when the world shakes. Decide who and what you trust and build your peace on that unshakable ground. I think the other day I was talking about, a storm. I think I was using the analogy of a storm where, palm trees have the ability to bend in the storm. And I believe that's what faith is, right? It gives us that ability to keep going and bend even though we're in the storms, to stay faithful. And such an important component because we cannot control everything. Clearly, we're in control of almost nothing, right? And so you got to have that element of faith. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the medical arts and, really trying to come from this analytical point of view where everything is science when it comes to medicine. There's a lot of things that work in the laboratory that just don't work in the field, in real life. And that's the nuance of being human. And so you got to accept that. You got to be okay with not understanding everything. And that's where faith comes in. So very important part of your top 10 life decisions. What you contribute. You're not here just to consume, not just a consumer. We're here to create. So you got to decide what you want to leave behind. Is it kindness? Is it purpose? And even the work with your hands. What are you leaving behind? Number 10, how you define success. And I'm going to change this one to how you define excellence because I've really been stuck on this word excellence lately. I've just come to a realization about excellence. Working hard, it's really not enough. We have to define excellence for each of us. And it looks different, I think, for everybody. But if you don't have a definition for, a top standard for yourself, then how do you know when you're hitting it? How do you know when you're hitting it? So it's very important to define excellence because the world will try to define it for you. Other people will try to define it for you. They'll say it's money. They'll say it's status. They'll say it's the followers on social media, for goodness sakes. Craziness. But true excellence is peace of mind. It's health and it's love that outlasts you in the physical body. I think those are some components of excellence. So those are some top 10 important life decisions that you have to make in order to define a life well lived. And that's today's Naturally Inspired Moment. I want to move on to some news stories today, some crazy ones. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Let's go to that graphic. Do you see this here? So this is popping up everywhere now. Maybe you've seen it. The first place I saw it was a few years ago on a flight I was trying to book, and it had a carbon score on the flight. And then I started seeing it pop up on real estate, where houses were actually being given a carbon score, given where they were located in proximity to stores and what being walkable or being unwalkable. And of course, living in a rural town, your carbon score would really stink. These things are popping up everywhere. They're becoming a part of products in the marketplace. And what that tells you is that this thing is already kicked off. So this sandwich right here has a carbon score of 8.1% of your daily dietary carbon allowance. Of your daily dietary carbon allowance. Is this AI? I would like to think it is, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And so I started really thinking about this a long time ago. And I think I had said it on my show a few years back that the currency of today is not going to be backed by the currency by what we think it is backed by today. I think increasingly. So, we used to have money currency that was backed by the gold standard. And then Nixon moved us off the gold standard and into the petrodollar. Well, that set us up for currency to be defined by energy, essentially. Currency is energy. And here's where we're going to get into a whole lot of trouble. Is that digital currency, of course, won't be based on precious metals. And it won't be based just on petro, right? On oil. But it could be based on a number of natural resources. So this picture I just showed you, right? How much natural resources are you getting paid every month so that you can spend your bank account of natural resources on the things that you need to survive? Like food, like transportation, like care, like everything that you buy today. Because I think this is where we're headed. Based on the stories that I covered yesterday, where they're trying to commoditize things like the natural rainforest and national parks, it seems like to me that natural resources are actually going to become the currency. And it's going to be weighted against your carbon footprint. So how much carbon are you consuming? You will get doled out so many tokenized credits, right? Which we heard Larry Fink talking about tokenized credits. I mean, this is all adding up to me. And the reason being is because AI is the future. It is the biological revolution. It is the digital revolution that we're headed into. And AI needs an ungodly amount of energy because essentially everything on the planet will be synthesized and, in the virtual world, and people, they're aiming for this, will become a merger between, technology and man. And so imagine how much energy, Trump said it a million times. Certainly people like Elon Musk are talking about it all the time, Eric Schmidt. The only thing holding AI back at this point is the lack of energy. How do we get enough data centers built? How do we cool those data centers, right? How do we get enough of these, the types of minerals and whatnot that we need in these batteries to continue to push AI forward. I think it's hard for somebody who's not in technology and not in the area of AI to understand and quantify how much energy is going to be needed for AI in its final expression. And so it would make sense to me that the hottest thing, the hottest commodity in the world is not going to be gold or the petrodollar or paper money, but our resources. Our resources. Things like water. It's terrifying when you think about it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Did you know that clinical studies show daily collagen peptides can increase skin hydration by up to 28% and reduce fine lines in 8 weeks? Tom from Michigan said, my skin was dry and dull before I started the liquid collagen. After 2 months, my skin tone evened out and I actually looked rested again. Tammy explained why my body needed it. Now I understand how much collagen does beyond just the skin. You can try it today. Get a free membership at 15% discount off of retail and a money back guarantee. All you got to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/collagen, naturallyinspiredstore.com/collagen. You can text me if you have questions about collagen. I can tell you anything you need to know about collagen. Studied it at length. 720-303-8868. That's 720-303-8868. Everybody over the age of 25 needs to be supplementing with collagen for optimum health outcomes. So check it out today at the Naturally Inspired store. I want to talk about our health topic today because at 4:30, we have a special guest joining us. Sam is going to be joining us from Greska's C60. Sam Greska will be joining us. We're going to have a little chat about Carbon 60, and he's going to share some things that he knows about Carbon 60, why it's so important. I use Carbon 60 every day for detox because we are swimming in a toxic soup here, and it's just one of those things that's easy to do and provides some protection against toxins. So stay tuned at 4:30 for Sam Greska to join us. It's going to be a fun conversation. And so today I want to talk a little bit about prostate. And get a lot of questions about prostate. And it seems like, again, the generalized thinking when it comes to prostate is that it's just something that happens when you get older and there's really nothing you can do about it. And I'm here to say no. There's actually a lot you can do about it. You can eat for inflammation. You can eat to take down inflammation. And a diet that's rich in vegetables, things like broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes are great, healthy fats like omega-3s, even walnuts, things like that. Research proves that they have all been shown to lower prostate inflammation and oxidative stress. Avoiding fried foods, avoiding refined oils and sugars, high carbohydrate diets. It all boils down into, inflammation, and then men end up with enlarged and irritated prostates. So one thing you can do right away is diet, right? Cut out all of the ultra processed foods. The other thing you can do is support detoxification and liver function. So the liver metabolizes hormones like estrogen and like testosterone. And when it's sluggish, and it gets sluggish from an overconsumption of things like carbohydrates and sugar, it can cause something called fatty liver. But even when it's just sluggish, hormone imbalance can stress the prostate. So making sure that you get some greens, right? Greens are kind of like the little sponges too. Polyphenols. I love polyphenols. The darker, the richer the color, the more powerful it is in terms of being an antioxidant. So you can use things like greens. You can take fiber. You can, fiber in fruit and vegetables. Start the day with some lemon water, and also support your liver, right? So we have a wonderful liver DTX complex that offers liver support with things like turmeric and dandelion root, all those wonderful things. So first thing though is diet, right? Diet. The other thing is moving every day. So regular physical movement improves your circulation to the pelvic area, and it also balances insulin, right? We've talked about insulin a ton on here. I feel like it's like I'm beating a drum all the time about insulin resistance. But both circulation is key to prostate and hormone health. So not just walking, if you can add in some strength training, sitting for long periods of time can also worsen congestion around the prostate. So you want to make sure that you're getting around and getting mobile. Okay, you're not just sitting all the time, such a big thing. There's a lot of evidence-based nutrients that help your prostate. One is zinc. Okay, it's concentrated in prostate tissue, and deficiency of zinc is linked to prostate enlargement. So that's pretty interesting. Saw Palmetto, wonderful. Oh gosh, there's a whole book on this that I read. It would just disgust you. Did you know that the natural supplement industry was making Saw Palmetto, and they wanted to be able to say, hey, this promotes healthy prostate on their labels, right? Wouldn't you know it if your government, I'm sure, fueled by lobbyists, actually lobbied against that? Now, this is backed by paper upon paper upon paper. Saw Palmetto for prostate, like this is given. This is very mainstream type of information, and yet it was blocked so that it cannot be put on the label of Saw Palmetto that it is helpful for prostate health. Like it just blows your mind, They're going out of their way to make sure that you do not connect to real solutions for health and that you have to be reliant on pharmaceuticals. They're going out of their way to do that. They're paying for it. They're paying for it. Gosh, this is one of so many supplements. There's like a laundry list, we have to be so careful about what we say about supplements because, you can't make claims. And I'm not making claims, Go into the NIH website and type in Saw Palmetto. It's right there. But how dare you put it on a label or allow a company to put it on a label and then put it on a shelf in a store? No. It's too accessible for you. You can't make critical decisions for yourself. No. We gotta, that's dangerous. It's insane, you guys. Lycopene and vitamin E for antioxidant defense as well. And of course, you want your omega-3s because omega-3s are so important for inflammation. Also polyphenols, so things like our cellular reset can be wonderful for this as well. Managing your stress and your cortisol. Chronic stress raises cortisol levels, okay, and disrupts your hormone balance. The thing about hormones is that, when one's off, they're all off. That's kind of the thing. And so, high cortisol, especially chronic cortisol, disrupts hormone balance, and it just has an impact on prostate health as well. So you've got to come up with a system to manage stress. I know, men are like, I'm a man. I don't, stress. I have stress, but I'm a man. I'll just deal with it. No, it's energy. Stress is energy. That's all it is, right? And stress comes from where you are, right? Where you are, the space between where you are and where you want to be or what you need, right? That's stress, the space in between what you have or where you are and what you need and where you need to be. And it's like where you think you need to be, where you want to be. That's where the stress comes from, is the space in between that. And you need a way to dispel that energy, to get it out of your body. Some people, if you ask them, where do you hold your stress? Where's your stress? Oh, it's here in my abdomen, Some people, it's right here in the solar plexus. Some people, it's in the throat, But if you had to, locate where you carry, or maybe it's on the back of your neck and your shoulders, right? Where do you carry your stress? That's energy. And what happens when we have kind of like a buildup of energy in a space? It's like I always say, it's congestion in the body. It's congestion, whether it's inflammation, whether it's, tension in your shoulders or whatever, it's congestion. And the body's signaling, hey, you got some congestion here. And stress is no different. So locate your stress and practice breathing it out. Things like, I personally like transcendental meditation rather than just plain old meditation. Talked about that, I think, here this week on the show, about kind of like taking time to kind of dive underneath the water, get a little silence, right? With no inputs. It's a wonderful practice. Of course, prayer is a great practice. Even just, getting out in nature and connecting to nature. Hug a tree, quite literally. This all calms the nervous system and supports the hypothalamic pituitary gondolal axis. So that's the kind of the brain access, right, to the prostate. It supports that nervous system, right? You got to build the nervous system up to be able to eliminate stress. It's just an energy charge. Stress is just an energy. So you got to move it through the body. Eliminate endocrine disruptors, plastics, pesticides, synthetic fragrances, laundry detergent, right? Dryer sheets. These things mimic estrogen and they also interfere with testosterone metabolism. So use non-toxic cleaners. This is an easy lifestyle shift. We have a wonderful line of clean products on our product line website, but avoid microwaving plastic, of course. Avoid plastic water bottles on a daily basis. Store your food in glass whenever possible. I learned, even those plastic coffee cups, or the paper coffee cups, they are lined with a kind of a wax of plastic. And even cans. Aluminum cans are aligned with plastic as well. So get the plastic out of your life. Look for places where it may be infiltrating. Prioritize sleep. During deep sleep, testosterone production and cellular repair peak. Poor sleep, late nights, raises inflammation and hormone imbalance. You want to shoot for 7 to 8 and get some magnesium glycinate to help with that. Stay tuned. Sam Greska is up with us next. We'll be right back.
Did you know that detoxing daily can help remove up to 70% of the toxins in your body? Let me share 3 real stories about how Greska's C60 has helped people feel their best every day. John from Denver, Colorado says,
I've always struggled with seasonal allergies, but since I started taking Greska C60 every day, my symptoms have significantly improved. I don't feel congested or tired all the time. It's been an amazing daily detox for my body, and I feel so much more energized.
Emily from Portland, Oregon says,
As an athlete, I was looking for a way to keep my body clean and detoxed. Greska C60 has been a great addition to my routine. I feel less bloated and I feel more clear-headed. Plus, it's helped me with occasional muscle stiffness and aches after intense workouts.
Visit c60.com or call 720-600-6040 today to start your own journey. Use promo code TAMMY at checkout for a special discount.
Welcome back. I think Sam Greska is going to be joining us today because I think Bob Greska is off in Hawaii. Who's Bob Greska, you ask? Well, if you are a new listener, I'll tell you a little bit about who he is. Bob Greska is the inventor, the innovator of Greska C60. He was an aerospace materials engineer that changed career directions from building spacecraft to health and human performance. He actually decided he wanted to stop making weaponry and stop making things that contributed to the downfall of society and do something good for humankind. And so he put his science brain to work and he developed Greska C60. So he's the CEO and founder of Greska C60, which is an incredible supplement based on carbon. Simple. Right? Doesn't get much simpler than carbon. And that's the very essence of life. And today, Sam is going to be joining us. I'm not sure if he's on with us quite yet, but hopefully he'll be on soon. If you want to give me, he's on. Wonderful. Sam Greska, welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio. How's it going?
There we go. Can you see me?
I can see. How are you doing?
All right, so I'm doing great. How are you, Tammy?
Doing well.
Back
doing
up
well.
a little bit because it's closer than I thought.
We heard that Bob's in Hawaii.
Yes, Bob is in Hawaii at the Mind Body Spirit Expo on the 26th. I think it's from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So he'll have a full day. He just landed, so he just texted me. He just landed, and I think it'll be a great expo out there.
Awesome. Oh, and here I thought he was taking a vacation, but he's there working.
Yeah, he's always working, but I think he's got an extra couple days before and like an extra day after to go to the beach and stuff like that.
Awesome. He's such a hardworking guy. He needs it. I'm glad to hear that. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about just your experience with Greska C60. I would love for you to share some stories about, when your dad started it, what it's done for people, that type of thing. I thought that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. And in fact, that's perfect. I had all my notes set up and stuff, but then my computer stopped working. So that's a better direction. That works for me.
Yeah. How old were you when he started?
I was probably 14, 2012. So no, 2012. So I was 10. I'm young. So
10 years old when he started. Did you think your dad was crazy? I mean, you were just 10, but what did you think?
Well, I think it still do think, so so maybe that hasn't left, but he made a great product. Crazy about the product for sure. He made a great product and made a great business. It's been great for everybody we've been involved with, great for our family, of course. So it's been an outlet for him to be generous with giving people health. And so it's been great.
Tell me a little bit about it. So how do you see the Greska C60 works? How does the Carbon 60 work?
So Carbon 60 basically is a antioxidant. When I talk to people and explain it to them, I say that kind of like what is activated charcoal, activated carbon. Activated charcoal is a sponge, so it collects everything. If you interact with toxins, it sponges up everything, but it also sponges up nutrients and things your body needs. So Carbon 60 is different in that it only goes after the toxins. It only goes after free radicals. It doesn't affect anything negatively in the body. It's great to have a product that there are no adverse side effects. I also have a comparison when people ask, is there any contraindications or anything like that? I said, it's like burnt toast. So it's burnt toast that helps you. So
I like that. I love the analogy. I love that you use the example rather of activated charcoal, because that's how Greska C60 works. It's like a seeking. It goes out and seeks the free radical. Correct?
Yes. So I'm not as much into the science as Bob, but something's negatively charged, something's positively charged, and they find each other. I think you don't want the positively charged molecules. So C60, I believe, is negatively charged, and opposites attract, literally. So
so
seeks them out.
Talk to me a little bit about toxins. So everybody's concerned about toxins, right? Everybody's concerned about toxins in the air, toxins in our food. I take Greskas as a way to give myself protection against some of the toxins. So how does it help people with toxins?
So being an antioxidant, I'll step back. What toxins do in your body is they disrupt cells, and they cause they create free radicals. Free radicals are when molecules are missing an electron, they become imbalanced. So Carbon 60 has the ability to attach itself to that free radical and stabilize it. So it's a very, very nano-sized problem that affects very big things. And toxins, we're exposed to toxins every day, of course, in what we drink and I'm on my phone, so there we go. So what we drink, what we eat, even moving. So it's not quite in every instance that toxins are something that is avoidable. They're very avoidable for some things, but even moving, we produce free radicals just by moving our muscles. Just by living, we produce free radicals. So it's a byproduct of life, and we have things in place in our body that try to counteract that. Carbon 60 gives us a boost in that. It gives us another soldier, I guess, in the fight against free radicals and toxins. So it gets your body back to being able to heal itself naturally. And if we don't have those roadblocks in place, our bodies can heal themselves naturally. That's what they're meant to do. So It doesn't do anything supernatural, but it does get you to that point where you can naturally heal without roadblocks.
Yeah, I love that, because that's the only thing that does heal is the body. The body's the only thing that can heal the body. You mentioned nanotechnology, or not technology, but nano. You mentioned the word nano, right? What does that mean? Because I think a lot of people understand how activated charcoal works, but that's much bigger than Greska C60, right?
Yes. So nanometers, I believe, is 1,000 nanometers. Nano would be something that's 1,000 nanometers or less, and our product is 20 nanometers. The Carbon 60 molecules that we make are in 20 nanometer, kind of statically charged clusters or statically connected, but they break up during our mixing process. So people get the wrong idea with nanotechnology. Everything's nano. I mean, there are some nanotechnology you want to stay away from, but everything's nano. So in any technology, you have things that are really small, even in a computer. I mean, in anything. So in toast, there's nano things.
Right.
We're nano. We have nano components. So.
Yes.
people get the wrong idea about it, but sometimes they're on the right track depending on what it is. But this is good nanotechnology. And people also kind of equate technology to electronics. And when people say nanotechnology, it usually or doesn't necessarily mean electronics.
Right.
But carbon-60 it's good nanotechnology.
Yeah, because you want to be able to absorb it. That's what it really boils down to, right? And so that's kind of the magic of Greska's C60 is that it's very tiny. So your body can use it. Even people with gut issues who have absorbability problems, they can still benefit from it. You have several different products, right? You have the water product. You want to talk a little bit about what you use the spray on water for versus the oil daily kind of 45 day.
Yes.
Okay.
So
perfect.
I actually have something. You're the first one to see it.
Oh
so
boy,
it's
exciting.
Something that'll be on the site tomorrow. It's basically a new and improved take on the water product. We had a topical and an oral product. And this is pretty much both of those. So Bob's been putting in the work in his lab on figuring out the best method to suspend carbon-60 in water, because carbon-60 is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier than water. So it's hard to suspend in water. But he did do that, and he's even perfected that even more. So it's much more, I wouldn't say stable in it, but it's in suspension better. It's in suspension better. So it stays in suspension, stays in the bottle. It doesn't fall out at all. But this is it. I'll show you it. And it's more representative of what it actually is, because now we call it, let me put it over there. So it's hydrated fullerenes.
Okay.
It's oral and topical supply. So this isn't even on the site yet. It will be, I'm going to say tomorrow. I'm working on it tonight. We just got the labels in, so I got to take some pictures, and I do all the website stuff, so it takes some time.
Yeah.
But how this is different than, say, our traditional product, which is the carbon-60 in sunflower oil,
right,
is there's no oil. So it's just C60 in water, so it's much more bioavailable. It doesn't have any oil that it has to process off, but and really it's just comes down to preference, because the important stuff is the carbon-60. You can put it in whatever you want, and carbon-60 is the key factor. It's the active ingredient, so that's what's important. And our carbon-60 is clean. There's no solvents used in it. We have a entirely solvent-free process, and our carbon-60 is, I'd say it's the best.
I would say so too. And one of the things that we need to be aware of as consumers too, and I learned this from Bob, was that you want your carbon to be black, because carbon's black. And
Carbon
there's a
is black.
lot of other products out there that are funny colors. And why are they funny colors?
So they're amber or they're purple. And what that means is there's a presence of toluene or toluene in the product, or some other solvent, which is not what you want. Carbon is black unless you're getting diamonds. You want carbon to be black.
Right. We're talking to Sam Greska, learning about Greska's C60. When we come back, we're going to talk about why people take it and what kind of results they get, because I think that's what everybody wants to know. How's it going to work? We're going to find out when we come back with Sam Greska. Visit c60.com. c60.com. You can use promo code Tammy for a little discount. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that detoxing daily can help remove up to 70% of the toxins in your body? Let me share 3 real stories about how Greska's C60 has helped people feel their best every day. John from Denver, Colorado says,
I've always struggled with seasonal allergies, but since I started taking Greska C60 every day, my symptoms have significantly improved. I don't feel congested or tired all the time. It's been an amazing daily detox for my body, and I feel so much more energized.
Emily from Portland, Oregon says,
As an athlete, I was looking for a way to keep my body clean and detoxed. Gresca C60 has been a great addition to my routine. I feel less bloated and I feel more clear-headed. Plus, it's helped me with occasional muscle stiffness and aches after intense workouts.
Visit c60.com or call 720-600-6040 today to start your own journey. Use promo code TAMMY at checkout for a special discount.
As a wonderful entrepreneur, Gresca's C60 is always looking to give the marketplace what they want. They have Gresca C60 in sunflower oil. It's a very high quality oil. It's not the bad seed oil because it's not been it's not used for frying or anything like that. This is just good organic sunflower oil. They have that product in a 45-day supply. They have a C60 face serum, which is wonderful. It's very, very light. It's wonderful to use as a primer underneath your makeup. They have another product in oil. It's in Gresca C60 in olive oil. Again, a 45-day supply. You just take with a dropper. And then they have Gresca's C60 in water, and that's wonderful. This one should go, in your get one for your kid's athletic bag, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people out there that don't think anything about, giving your kid things like Tylenol or pain relievers, over the counter pain relievers. It's like, oh yeah, they got hurt at sports and they need something for pain relief. And that's what people reach for, is these over the counter products. The problem is these over the counter products, as we're finding out, actually have consequences to them. So why not get some carbon 60 for pain for your child? Because it works fantastic. You can spray it right on there. I have used it on my kids when they were smaller, even. A couple years ago, my daughter, she was still a teenager, when she had a headache, and just sprayed it on her temples and on both sides of her head, and boom, it took her headache away immediately. So sometimes it works right on contact, and I've seen it happen several times. C60, Gresca C60 has been a part of our Naturally Inspired Health Summits for all 3 years, and I've seen it work on people right in front of my eyes, right there at the table at our summit. So Sam, welcome back to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so excited about the new product. So excited about the new product, and all of the Gresca's products are awesome. But why don't you tell me a little bit about stories when it comes to, you've been doing this a while now, with your dad, and I'm certain you've been around it for even longer, and you've probably heard all the stories that he has to tell, because he's very passionate about what he does.
Yes.
So why don't you share a few stories about how C60 has helped people with maybe things like ringing in the ears, or different stories that you've encountered.
Yeah. So baseline cause of a lot of these issues, the issues that carbon 60 rectifies, is inflammation. So we have customers who take it for ringing in their ears, and they take it orally, as well as they'll spray it actually in their ear.
And, really?
Yes.
So they put it in the ear. Okay.
Put it in the ear, and their ringing stops. So I've never had ringing in my ear, but I know it's very, very common. I think a lot of people who are older have it, people who are younger have it, or if they were exposed to loud noises, stuff like that. So carbon 60 does help with that, and helps relieve that damage through removing the inflammation. Probably about 3 days ago, I talked to a guy, and I think we talked on the phone for 30 minutes, which I love talking to customers. It's great. So he was talking about how he puts carbon 60 on his eyelids, and he had floaters in his eyes, and those have completely disappeared.
Wow.
So it wasn't just a 90%, or I think it's better. It's something that's completely disappeared. So he said his doctor has been amazed by that. And that doctor actually started taking carbon 60. So, because that's what the guy attributed it to. So,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, we have stories of people who have aches and pains who apply the product topically or take it internally. And I think the baseline, and I guess I could say it too much, but I almost can't overstate it. It's really inflammation. Unnecessary inflammation is the cause of a lot of problems, and that's what carbon 60 resolves. So there's kind of anything you can think of that you have unnecessary inflammation, or you have old injuries that are just taking too long to heal, or still sore, you're still getting pains from it. Carbon 60 is very great for that.
Yeah. What about allergies? Get a lot of people now, some people get spring allergies, but a lot of people get fall allergies too.
So I haven't talked to anybody personally, but of course I've heard my dad talk to people, and he's told me about it. So yes, some people snort the carbon 60 up their nose. So I don't think we can recommend it.
I'm some people.
Oh, you're some people. Okay, awesome.
I did it this past August. I always get something because we're out in the country here, and they start tearing down the corn and cutting the corn. And every year, first week of August or so, second week of August, I get just itchy eyes. And I took some, and it helped right away. And then I texted Bob and said, "Hey, I took it. I sprayed it on my eyelids." And he said, "Oh, snort it." And so I did, and it totally worked. It totally worked. So
that's awesome.
So I can be a story for you guys right there, because it definitely helped immediately. I've used it for small scratches too. Like we have cows here on our place, and I'm always loading hay and whatnot. I always get scratched somehow out here on the farm, and I always just spray a little bit of carbon 60 on it, and it doesn't get as bad. If I can catch the redness right away, instead of letting it scab over the next day or whatever, if I can catch the redness, it doesn't turn into anything else. It goes away. It's pretty great.
It's good stuff. And it almost makes it hard for us to market, because people say, well, what does it do? It's like, well, it does everything. It doesn't really do everything, but it does just about everything.
Yeah.
It helps with just about everything. It supports just about everything. So it helps with a lot. And yeah, people put it on scratches, small cuts. Again, it's not something we can recommend to put it on anything like that, but people do it and they notice great results.
Yeah. Yeah. What about, let's see, what haven't I asked you about? The pet line. Because I know a lot of people, I did a story yesterday about veterinarians and how a lot of these vet clinics are actually getting bought up by bigger private equity firms nowadays. And so the cost of pet care has skyrocketed. You can't get out of a vet clinic without like $1,000. Can you use this stuff on your pet? Because pets, they get stuff too. They get scratched. They have a little issue. Have you ever had anybody use it on dogs or cats?
Yes, we have a lot of customers. I think we probably have about 15 people who have subscriptions just for their pets. And we even have a couple customers who don't even buy it for themselves. They just buy it for their pets, which is, I guess it's surprising. Maybe it's a finances thing. I don't know. And I've heard a lot of people, they say, I'd rather go without it before I let my pet go without it. So people notice shinier coats. Their animals will be more playful. It's just about everything that we would notice, except it almost seems with senior pets, it really affects them to a greater extent. People notice a lot more activity. We have put carbon 60 around I think it's the lamina around the horse's hoof. And
oh yeah,
when a horse has inflammation on its hoof, it starts getting cracks and it starts getting really inflamed. So people put that on there, and then what it does is it stops the inflammation on right before the hoof starts growing, because it's pretty much nail. And that stopping inflammation, it stops the crack, and
the hoof starts growing out properly. We actually have a good amount of pictures, I think 3 separate horses on our site.
Yeah, I've heard Bob talk about that, calling it floundering. And unfortunately, when a horse...
My audio's a little bit messed up.
Yeah. Bob was talking about floundering with horses. And he said that when a horse flounders like that, they often have to put him down. So this could be like there, you're back. Perfect. This could be a bit of a Hail Mary to throw, if you're in a point with your horse where this keeps happening. This could be something that could really improve the life of your horse or maybe even save it.
Yes, for sure. And we had one client who was getting ready to put her horse down. I mean, that was kind of the next thing on the docket. Mm-hmm. And she got a good farrier who worked with horses that have laminitis and started using Greska's Carbon 60. And the farrier helped relieve those pressure points, and the Carbon 60 helped reduce the inflammation around the nail bed. So the horse's hoof started growing out evenly, and we even have pictures of it in about 3 months. Hooves don't grow very fast, but it was about a half inch of growth. And it was perfect, great nail. The cracking was gone, the flaking was gone, and the horses, as far as I know, I haven't had an update in about 6 months, but this was a case where Carbon 60 wasn't necessary to just keep taking for the horse. It solved the problem that was being continued, because the cracking causes further inflammation, and then the inflammation causes more cracking. So it's kind of back and forth. So after the horse was kind of over that hump, they stopped taking the horse didn't have to keep taking Carbon 60, and it's still doing great.
That's wonderful. Why don't we talk a little bit about how you take it? So with the oil droppers, how do you take it? When do you take it? Should you take it with food? Like, how do you take it?
So mornings are good with or without food.
Okay.
And what you do is you just open it up, you give it a good squeeze, and just about that. What comes out, it's about 2/3 of a milliliter. That'll last you about 45 days. And you just take that right in your mouth. Some people put it under their tongue, but you could do it either way. It's so small, it gets around everywhere. So you can do that with or without food.
Okay.
Then we got the face serum. And that, I'll just put it on my hands for the sake of showing it. But it just takes a couple drops. And really with 2 drops, I can cover the entire back of my hand. It's just about 4 drops on the face, but you just rub it in, and I put it on my hands, I put it on my face. So I don't know if I'm the best model for it, but
you got great skin, Sam. Great skin.
So I actually, when I was younger, I was in a propane accident, so I do get a little red right here. But Carbon 60 has helped with that, because I couldn't be in the sun for too long. And so I have noticed improvement with that, and my face doesn't get as red when I'm in the sun. So you wouldn't know. I had 2nd-degree burns all over my face. So.
Wow. How old were you when that happened?
I think I was 11. Oh,
wow. So it helps with scars.
Yeah, well, it helps with, yes. I mean, that was they weren't I don't have visible scarring, but I do have scar tissue on my face. So it does. It helps with that. Certainly. That's what it helped with for me. So.
Go ahead if you want to do the spray real fast.
I got one more. So here's the spray. It's very simple. It's just, you can spray it on. No, this one's new, but you can spray it on topically.
There you go.
And then you can spray it in your mouth. So either way.
All right. Everybody, get your C60 at c60.com. That's Greska's C60.com. You can also call them. Call, because they answer their phone, 720-600-6040. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Tammy. Thanks.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, Dive into long-form podcast conversations and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.